I'll start by saying that, of course, the primary duty of the media is to educate, is to inform. I mean, even I know entertainment is one of it, but in terms of education and information, people rely solely on the media. I mean, to get different kind of information, and they take it seriously whenever they get to hear things from reputable media platforms. So I think it's also the duty of the media to, in this case, report issues that are quite accurate and are quite factual. Because if you check very well, I mean, for us, I'm a broadcast journalist, and one of the core tenets of journalism is the fact that you need to, verify your information before you report.
As a matter of fact, the role of the media in changing narratives, shaping, you know, reorientating the society on issues bordering on LGBTQ plus persons is actually enormous, though challenging. No need deny the obvious. It's actually challenging because we are products of the society. We are part and parcel of this society. We are not living outside the society as media persons. So we are here in the society, and what really shapes the direction of society, religion, culture, tradition, and all of these things. And again, the other part is the law. The law so established, so set up. So one is to be guided. Some other times you're restrained. Okay. Some other times you just want to be careful so that you don't become an endangered species out there, so that you won't be branded or tagged names, to avoid name callings. But then again, the media must have to play its role of sensitizing, orientating, informing and educating the public on critical issues that are necessary and basic for societal progress. Okay.
Of course, the media's involvement in the whole conversation cannot be overemphasized. The fact that the media shapes the opinion and informs people is something that is very paramount to this conversation. And sometimes you discover that the media itself allows itself to be controlled by maybe certain societal norms and cultural practices without actually excluding itself to stand as the unbiased arbiter, in the whole process.
The role of media in protecting people living with HIV and AIDS, as well as members of the LGBTQ community, is very important. You know, because it helps in enhancing and promoting accurate information, safety, and human rights as well. Yes, reporting on HIV cases and LGBTQ cases too is can be challenging. However, it's something that is doable, and with the information that was shared earlier on, as well as documents shared, I know that it is doable. And as time goes on, we continue to improve on how to protect, as well as to create awareness for people, members of the LGBTQ community, including those living with HIV.
So when it comes to this context of queer people, LGBTQ persons, another part of ethics of the job is the fact that you need to also, at some point, maintain confidentiality of your source and all of that. So let's say you want to report on an issue that is related to someone who has either identified as an LGBTQ person or wants to remain, the right warrior doesn't want to come out if that is the case. It's not your job as a journalist to come on air and dehumanize them, if that's the right word. So, in essence, journalists have a role to protect by giving out correct information, by reporting things that are factual, by not misleading, by not creating stereotypes around these people. Because when people who are watching get to understand how these things, the correct names, the correct nomenclature, the correct expressions, they get to understand that, oh, this is what it is. And then in the context of human rights, it's also the duty of the media now to portray and highlight the right of this individual by letting people know that it is, first of all, an individual, whether it's a queer person or maybe a straight person, whether it's a gay or whatever form the person tends to identify with, It's the role of the media to report it the way it is and not to exaggerate or put the person in a spotlight that would either lead to them being dragged or being stigmatized or being, called different names in the public sphere.
It has been a concern because sometimes in reporting, we don't actually know how we are going to communicate to people or the right terms to use or the right thing to say at every particular time.
As a matter of fact, we will have to keep doing what we need to do, especially on reportage, making sure that the right message is given out, the right information is actually sent out to the listener or or the viewer, either on TV, on radio, or any other channel that we may deem so fit. And workshops like this, engagements like this, goes a long way in actually making us to learn and unlearn. Okay, um, the appropriate language to use while reporting issues like this of this nature. So the role of the media is actually very, very enormous. It cannot be overstated, and it's going to be work in progress. After this time around, we need to come again and see what we can do to refine and keep working and keep improving. So that's just it, sir. That's it for me. Thank you very much.
And I think beyond traditional media, the social media also has a role to play because I think that's where some of these issues stem from. So let's say you're a content creator, you're someone who is an online journalist, and you do most of your work online. You have a bigger job to do because sometimes people have more access to the internet. So your job there is to report accurately, not label people the way you think they are, and not calling out people in an appropriate manner that will put them in danger. So yeah, media's role is quite holistic. Bear in mind that journalism as a profession has its own ethics, and guidelines bordering on confidentiality, being able to verify your source and reporting accurately. So I think that's a bit of it. We all have different roles to play, especially the media.
The take home is that yes, we need to start talking about these things. We need to start changing narratives. We need to start, letting people know that certain perceptions and views they had may have been wrong, based on what generally everybody thinks, without actually taking a deep look into it. So yes, it's been a fruitful day, and this is one step that we have taken that needs a lot of other steps ahead, but one step at a time, we keep moving, and over time, we will make the difference that is required. Thank you very much.